A good tough LR set asked us a doubt in our group. The link to the group is in the description. You too can ask your doubt. So here we have, if it's not visible, I'm going to read it out. I'm going to copy these values in a moment. So just hang on over there. Just get the gist of it. 4 friends A, B, C, D withdrew 10,000 rupees each from an ATM, and the amounts were in denomination of 100, 200, 500, 2000. The graph shows the number of notes withdrawn denomination wise: 6 notes of 2000, 14 notes of 500, 70 each of 200 and 100. And person wise, so Amrit withdraws 42 notes, B 48, C 35, D 35. Okay, so just surprising fact, the 200 and 100 are also 70, 70, and C and D are also 35 and 35. Yeah, just observation. Now, there are some clues given here. Each one of them drew notes of exactly 3 denominations. Now, what you have to understand is there are going to be 3 denominations, so one of them is a miss. So one denomination is not drawn out by each of the guys. They drew only 3 denominations. Further, it said none of them had an identical set of notes. Now this identical set of notes, you need to understand it in the context. That means if one of them did not withdraw the 2000 rupees note, then the other person would have not withdrawn some other note. Okay, so because if he would also not have withdrawn the 2000 note, then they would have an identical set of notes. The set of notes means the same denomination. So there are 4 denominations, one of them is not drawn out, and there are 4 friends, and the denomination that is not drawn out is different for each. So obviously that means is one guy will not withdraw 100, one guy will not withdraw 200, one guy will not withdraw 500, one guy will not withdraw the 2000, right? So this would ensure that everyone has a distinct set. Now for this, you did not really have to draw anything. And that is about your comfort level with LR, how much you have practiced. So if you have practiced well enough, the 2 clues seem to be very logical here, right? Means the interpretation is very, very clear. There's no ambiguity there. Now Amrit withdrew 20 notes of 100. Okay, now we come to specific data. The person who did not withdraw 200 notes withdrew 3 notes of 2000, and Dalveer withdrew more notes of 500 than Charanjit. Okay, so the grid is pretty obvious. I don't think so one needs any thoughts there. The denomination wise, so this is denomination wise. The row or column headings, the row headings are person wise. A, B, C and D, and in this table I am going to fill in the numbers of notes withdrawn, the notes withdrawn. So out of 100 is 70 notes in total, 270 notes in total, 14 notes of 500, 6 notes of 2000. When you copy, you should realize there's a lot of this. 70 is large, but 6 is very small. So this is a good attacking place. Amrit withdrew, A withdrew 42. You can't do much with that. There's a 48, okay, and then there's a 35 and 35. So no great small values here, but okay, so not much to help, right? So A withdrew 20 notes of 100. So this is direct. So one of the attacking point could be this row. In fact, in this row, let's start analyzing it also right away. There are 3 variables left, and there are 2 equations that I have. What is the other equation? They withdrew 10,000 rupees. And remember, I also know each one did withdrew note of 3 denomination. So one of them has to be a 0. Okay, so one of them has to be a 0. Oh, so that doesn't look very bad. So you could start here also. This is a good point, but hang on for a minute. Yeah. The person who did not withdraw 200 rupee notes withdrew 3 notes of 2000. So someone did not withdraw a 200 rupee note, but I don't know who it is. Okay, and it could be this guy also. But then if this is 0, this guy did not withdraw, then He should have withdrawn 3 notes of 2000. Oh, so that I can do an immediate check. There's hardly any variable left. So that thought should occur, can this clue be about Amrit itself? Okay. Oh, then so it's easy. Now, how much is this? 6,000 rupees. How much is this? 6,000 and 2,000, 8,000. So how much is left? 2,000 is left. If I want 2,000, I would only withdraw 4 notes. But then does this add up to 42? No. So this is not the guy who is talking about in the fourth clue. So the fourth clue is some other one. Okay, and what is the fourth clue saying? There is going to be a row. We don't know which one. B is going to be 0 and B as in 200. I count them as A, B, C, D all here. And this is going to be 3 notes. And this is not A. This is not A. We did that check by putting it in A. And if this is not A, that means A will have a 0 here or here. So I could put a 0 here and I could solve it, students. So if I put C as 0, okay, so I'm doing this solution. So this row, if I make it C as 0, okay, then let's see what is going to happen. If C is 0, okay, so I don't remove 500. This is already 2000 done. So would I be removing in 200s and 2000s? And what equation do I get? I'll take it in hundreds. Okay, so that is going to be 2B plus this is 0, 20C, D is 8000. That is 8000. Yeah, the 100, the 2 zeros I have cancelled out from everywhere. This is in amounts. And do I also know that B plus D, the number of notes, this is 20, the number of notes should be 22. So it's a 2 variable 2 equation. Now, so I should be able to solve it out. So let's solve it and try to do it orally, students. So multiply this with the 2, cancel out. So this will be 18D, park that figure in your mind, 18. This is 44. 80 minus 44 is a 36. 18D is 36. So D is a 2. And if D is 2, this is 20. So could I have one solution here, 20, 20, 0, 2? Possibly yes. Okay, that is if C was 0. And if C was not 0, what else I could have? I could have D as 0. Okay, so do that also. Then what will be the equation going to be? So or else it will look like 20, some value I don't know, some value I don't know, and D is 0. And I'm persisting because this is a clue. The second thing is this is a clue. So I'll obviously have to do this and do this. Anyways, a nice set is going to take at least that 10, 12, 15 minutes, right? So invest that time. Okay, so now what will I have? I will have 2B plus 5C is 80, and I'll also have B plus C is how many nodes? That same 22. Okay, and the 20 will make it a 42. So let's solve this. Same idea. 2B cancels. 2C, 5C, subtract 3C. Park that 3 in your mind. 44, 36. 3C is 36. So C is 36 by 3, 12. Oh, so I put a C is 12. And if C is 12, B has to be 10. Okay, so this row here could be 20, 20, 0, 2, 20, 10, 12, 0. Oh, so I have two possibilities. Unlucky. If there was one single possibility, I would have made it into a smaller group then. Yeah. Okay. But still there's value. I know that it could either be this or this, no? So one of these two that row is going to be. Okay. The A. Let's come to the other row then. Now I'll have to handle this row. Okay. Now I'll have to handle and the same idea. If this is A and this is C. Okay. Now look here interestingly. Okay. This is A and this is C. The value of this should be 10,000. So this is 6,000. So the value of this is 4,000. So 1A plus 5C is 40. This is definitely true. The A and C are the unknowns. And now what you could do is this row is going to represent either B, C or D. And the interesting thing is these are the same C and D now. So I could say, oh, the total number of notes is either going to be 48 or 35. So what are these notes going to be? This is 3 notes. Okay. So if this was 48, A and C is going to be a 45. Okay, here itself you should be able to see that this is not possible. And if this was 35, A and C is going to be 32 notes together, and the 3 make it the 35. And both of these are same, so I don't have any other possibility. So let's try to solve this simultaneous. And do you see the A and A cancel? So if you subtract this and you took a 45, this is going to be negative C. Nothing can be negative, so 45 is not possible. Oh, so this row total has to be 35. This row total has to be 35. It can't be 48. And if it has to be 35, let's finish it also. Then when you subtract, you get a 4C is equal to an 8. So C is a 2. So this is 3 and 2, 5. So this has to be 30. Put that 30 and 2, 32, do this, 5 2s are 10, everything should match up. Oh, so this is a row and this belongs to either C or D. Okay, one of them I know, this is C or D. Oh, excellent. So I've got one good point, but again not perfect. So we are almost there. Some part done here, some part done here. There's not much that is left here. Dalveer withdrew more notes of 500 than Charanjit. So 500, Dalveer withdrew more. But then, so mark your own ways, right? Whatever it is. But that still, that only tells me Dalveer cannot be 0. Okay, Dalveer is not 0. Oh, now my mind is ticking. Oh, if Dalveer is not 0, someone else must be a 0. Okay. Could C be a 0 here? Okay, yeah, C could be a 0 now. Okay, but then okay, not much help, right? And then you should come down to pay attention. This is that turning moment, and it's not very difficult. Yeah, when we were discussing, we said this column can be a nice target of ours because of the sum being only 6, and I already know there's one row here with a 3, and I also know that there is definitely one row with a 0 because there's some friend who has not withdrawn that 2000. It could be A also, mind you. Yeah, okay. Oh, and so what is left is 3 is left, and there are 2 more rows. So now a nice thing here is how I have written those rows, replicated them here without any order amongst them. So pay attention here, students. Total needs to be 6. 3 is left, and I can't have another 0. So if you can't have another 0 and you want to split 3, the only way it will be is 1 and 2. Okay, and the advantage here versus here is, here I have the row headers. Here there's no, so they could interchange. So these are the 4 rows. Okay, now I am very confident. Okay, and now I say, okay, someone has not drawn a 0. Okay, and that could be A also. Okay, it's not going to help me too much. Yeah, even doing the others. So now comes the last input here, and a very valuable one as such, students. You know, this 100 rupee denomination is very small denomination. The number of notes are also very high. So somewhere someone should have 0 notes of 100. They would have fewer notes otherwise. You know, so let's see, I'll use that. So someone should have 0 100 rupee notes. It can't be the guy who has 0 2000. 2 zeros are not allowed. Each has 3. So that 0 will be here or here. Okay, so you know what? Rather than waste your time, try out. If this was a 0 something something 1. If this was a 0. Yeah, let's see if it is 0. Then there are only 200 and 500s and one note of 2000. So let's write this out of equation. Yeah, probably the last time I have to do. So let's see. 2 notes, 200 rupee notes, B notes of 200 rupee, C notes of 500 rupee should add up to how much? 80. How do I know? This is 2000. So 8000. Okay. Okay, and do I also know B plus C? Okay, I don't know what is the row total, but now think, isn't this row can't be the 42 one? Why? Because 42 doesn't have 0 hundreds. So this has to be either 48 or 35. Again, I am using that that these are only identical values. Okay. Oh, so B plus C, this row should add up to 48 or else 35. One note is here. So either this B and C will add up to 47 or will add up to 34. Let me make a little space. 47 or 34. Okay, they will be only here, it can't be this row. Okay, so let's solve it and see. And again, if you solve it and see, this will be multiplied by 2. And if you multiply this by 2, the BB cancels out, you get a 3C. This into 2 is more than 80. So 80 minus this is going to be a negative value. So this can't be 47. Oh, so this row necessarily, if it is a 0, I am saying, yeah, it may not be 0 also, don't worry. If it is a 0, okay, then has to be, so let's finish out the solution. We were at twice of this is 68. 80 minus 68 is going to be 12. 3C is 12. C is 4. Okay, and we said the sum has to be 35. So this is going to be 30. 30 and 34. Okay, so this is my assumption. Okay, I don't know, but one of them is going to work. So either this is going to be there or the other one. So let me not waste time. Let me go ahead and say, had this been a 0, something, something, and a 2. Okay, then go ahead and tell me what is it. 2B plus 5C has to be now 6,000. That is 60. Because this is 0. That is 4,000. And B plus C, the same logic. B plus C. Now this could be either 48 or 35. The same logic. But this is 2 notes. So if it is 48, this is going to become 46. If this row was 35, this is going to become 33. And now you realize that if I multiply this by twice, the B will cancel. This is 2C. So I'll do first minus last. So that's a 3C. But here twice of this will be beyond 60. So I'm going to get a negative C, and that thing could all, yeah, could, so this, I don't have a solution here. Okay, so this can't be 0. If this is a 0, I'm getting a negative value for C, because this can only be in row second, third. It can't be the first row. Okay, so this is not 0, so this has to be, and if this is 0, then this is the only possibility. Okay, this is the only possibility. This row has to add up to 35. Oh, this row has to add up to 35. Oh, this row also adds up to 35. Okay, and now it's just a matter of putting the 0. So this column has a 0, this has a 0. So here this has to have a 0. Is that okay? This is 35, this is 35. Now let's see. Oh, so one of this is C and D, this is C and D. So A has to be one of these two. So A has to be one of these two. Can A have C as 0? Oh, if A has C as 0, then D should be 2. Oh, it is matching. Oh, can this be A? Think about it. Okay, now do I also know the totals here? I know this is 14, no? So this is 4, 5, 6. Okay, 6. So this has to be an 8. Okay, now can this row be A? If D is 0 in A here, then C has to be 12. But this is not 12. Right? This is not. So this can't be the A, because if D was 0, A had to be this. So this can't be A. This has to be A. So if this is A, so I know this. This is 2. This is 0. The sum has to be this 20. This is A. So this will have to be B. So this has to add up to 48. Okay. And so let's just put down all the values now. This is 8 and 0. And how do you decide between C and D? D has more value. So D has 4, 1, 30, 0, this has to be C, this is a 2, this is a 3, 0, 30. Have we filled this in? So the balanced numbers here are 50. So this is 20, this is 50. So this is 20, 20, 20, 40, 48. So these are it. So I guess all the questions can be answered comfortably. Where did the cell go? Okay. So a good set. If left alone, you could do it a little faster. Explaining it takes a little time, but then again see how you attack the weak points. You know, the one data was given, you found for A. Did it help? Yes, at the end it helped. Another very big help was the 6. And this fact that I made the rows, you know, without header columns and they could interchange helped me quite a lot. I took possibilities of 0 being at one place, yeah, somewhere, and then that is how one actually cracks. One needs to persevere, take a, and just, you know, break it bit by bit and come to the solution.